All right, let's talk about the real engine behind Snowflake, the virtual warehouse. We're going to break down how you can get that lightning-fast performance you need without getting a bill that makes your eyes water. So here's the deal, right? You need answers from your data like yesterday, but you're also trying to keep the budget in check. It's this constant balancing act. Well, by the time we're done here, you are going to have the playbook to get this right. So what are we going to cover? First, we'll get into what a virtual warehouse actually is, the engine of Snowflake. Then, we'll tackle that big power versus price question. After that, we'll look at how to handle those crazy rush hour moments, explore some really smart scaling strategies, and finish up with the automatic on-off switch that, trust me, you're gonna love. Let's do it. Okay, first things first, let's really get our heads around this engine. The virtual warehouse is, well, it's the heart of the whole operation. Honestly, without it, your queries just don't go anywhere. So what is it really? Think of a virtual warehouse as a dedicated bundle of computing power. We're talking CPU, memory, temporary storage, all the good stuff that Snowflake spins up just for you to run your queries and do all that heavy lifting. I love this quote because it just nails it. It's the muscle of the system. And just like with real muscles, if you want more power, it's going to come at a price. So let's see what that actually means for your bottom line. And here we go, the million-dollar question, sometimes literally. How in the world do you pick the right size warehouse for what you need to do? The easiest way to think about this is just t-shirt sizes. Seriously, Snowflake makes it that simple. You don't have to be a hardware expert, you just pick a size. X small, small, medium, you get the picture. Now check this out. This slide really shows you the cost model. And the pattern is so simple, but so important. Every time you jump up a tier size, the cost in credits just doubles. An X small costs 1 credit an hour. A small, 2 credits. Medium, 4. It's super predictable, which is great, but man, it can add up fast if you're not careful. Okay, now this is a detail you have to know. It can really trip you up. Snowflake bills you per second, which sounds amazing, right? But here's the catch. There's a 60-second minimum charge every single time a warehouse starts up. It might not sound like a big deal, but it completely changes how you should think about your auto-suspend settings. We'll get back to that. All right, so you've picked a size. But what happens when that morning rush hour hits? When suddenly everybody is hitting the database at the same time? This is where we have to talk about how to handle that traffic. Are you going to scale up or are you going to scale out? So you've basically got 2 moves here, scaling up or resizing. That's like ripping out your car's 4-cylinder engine and dropping in a V8. It's perfect for one single monstrously complex query. But scaling out, which uses a multi-cluster warehouse, that's totally different. That's like adding more lanes to the highway. It is built from the ground up to handle a traffic jam of lots and lots of queries all at once. And this is where the magic really happens. You can literally see the cost savings right here. Look at this example. If you just run one medium warehouse all day, you're paying for power you don't always need. That's 12 credits. But with the multi-cluster setup, you only spin up that second warehouse when the surge hits. The total cost drops to just 8 credits. That's a 33% savings just by being smarter about how you scale. Okay, so now we know that scaling out is the secret sauce for handling traffic. But how do we fine-tune it? Let's get into the nitty-gritty of configuring your multi-cluster warehouse like a pro. You've got 2 main modes to choose from. Maximized mode is pretty straightforward. You set your min and max clusters to the same number and they just run all the time. It's great if you have really predictable, heavy traffic. But auto-scale mode, that's where things get interesting. You set a different minimum and maximum, and Snowflake just automatically adds or removes clusters depending on how busy things are. It saves you a ton of credits when it's quiet. And digging a little deeper into auto-scale mode, you get another choice. The standard policy is all about speed. It hates making your queries wait, so it'll spin up a new cluster really fast. The economy policy, on the other hand, is all about saving money. It'll wait a bit longer, making sure that a new cluster is really needed before it starts one up. It's all about conserving those credits. And finally, let's talk about the absolute simplest, most powerful feature for keeping your costs down. This is the one you can set once and just forget about. Every single person using Snowflake should have this turned on. This is the beauty of Auto-Suspend and Auto-Resume. It's so simple. A query comes in, boom, the warehouse wakes up instantly, it does its job, and then after a few minutes of just sitting there doing nothing, it goes back to sleep. You stop paying the second it becomes idle.
It's hands down the easiest way to make sure you never ever waste a credit.
So, what are the big takeaways here? What do you absolutely need to remember? 1. Don't be afraid to experiment with different warehouse sizes. 2. Use multi-cluster for traffic jams, not to speed up a single slow query. 3. Always, and I mean always, have auto-suspend turned on. And 4. Just remember, resizing a warehouse that's already running won't magically speed up the queries that are already in progress. And that brings us to our last thought, a question for you to take back to your own team. Have a real look at your Snowflake setup. Now that you know these strategies, you can really fine-tune things. So is your engine a credit-burning gas guzzler, or have you built a lean, mean, cost-effective hybrid? The choice is yours.